States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everyone. Chief Clerk Linda, were there any executive sessions?
No, there were none.
Before we start public comment, I just want to make just a personal comment. Commissioner Hess and I had the great honor of attending a 100th anniversary of a fire company in Montgomery City on Saturday. What a great event, what a great story. This is not just fire, it's also a rescue squad that has apparatus and personnel and awards that second to nobody in the state, maybe the country. And to see this happen in this weekend where we had firefighters out in Idaho trying to fight a wildfire that was set on purpose and then be shot. I mean, it's just so crazy. And it's just hard to understand. Gary, if you have any thoughts on that?
No, again, we have a fantastic organization, the Schuylkill County Firefighters Association. All the companies and all the communities do an excellent work and job. And again, it's everybody's, I guess, duty is to support them, whether they're having a fundraiser or whatever, because just up in that area, there's millions of dollars of equipment sitting on the street, and also just to outfit the firefighters themselves. So again, they go out the way it is. They're going in when other people are coming out to save lives. So West End is a true tribute, 100 years. It's amazing to have an organization go that long. So it was a great day for them all.
Dano is the fire chief, actually is our second shift 911 supervisor. And as of Wednesday, they had about 40-some trucks committed for a parade. Well, if we get 50, that'd be great. Well,
119.
yeah, 119, and Wallopin and Allen Township near Philadelphia, and just all half of Carbon County was there. I hope there's no fires in Carbon County because there was nobody on the. But just just a great day, great event, and lots of fun to be there. So, other public comment, please, this morning. Laura, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I hope everyone is well. My name is Laura Krasnowski, and I live in the city of Pottsville. I'm going to read very quickly because you might throw me out if I don't. Anyway, several years ago, I approached Tom Palomar, the city business administrator, to inform him the former city council member, Art Harris, was claiming to purchase a zoned off-street parking lot in the rear of the west side of Girard Alley in the city of Pottsville. The zoned parking lot was required circa the 1980s when the single-family unit at 315 Laurel Boulevard was converted into a 4-unit building. The lot was required to ease the possibility of 8 new cars being added to the off-street parking. I notified Palomar as the code stated that he was the ex officio zoning officer for the city in between the monthly zoning hearings. I explained the situation, which Palomar seemed unable to grasp. He kept asking, how do you buy a zoned parking lot? I explained to Palomar he had 2 choices, to get Harris to return the lot and get his money back, or close the 4-unit apartment building, violating its zoning, thus forcing it back into compliance. I relied on Palomar as to do his administrative duty. Meanwhile, Harris attempted to take over a portion of the city-owned alley, claiming the unbuildable lot measuring 30 by 56 deep was contiguous with his garage. He obtained a survey evidencing that the alley belonged to the city and it didn't belong to him. Okay, he claimed the sale was not as is due to events prior to purchasing, and therefore he was not going to repair the retaining wall that was falling 2 feet into my property. The falling rocks are, anyway, in real estate law and property law, encroachment refers to the unauthorized intrusion of a structure, object, or activity without the person's permission. It is an infringement into the property owner's rights, depriving the owner of the full use and the quiet enjoyment of their property. In prep for tax assessment appeal, I pulled the apartment deeds as well as Harris's deeds. We now have 1 parcel with 2 deeds and 2 separate owners. The first from Shylock into Rose Tree Investment dated December 2015, passing the zoned parking lot into Rose Tree. The second Rose Tree into Harris dating 2015, and the third deeded into Rose Tree into Boone Management, transferring the same zoned off-street parking lot. Unbeknownst to me, ex officio zoning officer Palomar elected to do nothing. This impacts on the county, it impacts on taxes. Had Palomar done his zoning officer duties owed to the people of Pottsville and this county, there would not be two separate deeds with two separate owners into the same zoned off-street parking lot. In fact, it behooved Palomar to take no actions as the county, the school district, and the city are receiving double taxes for the same lot. I have the deeds here, and I was very thankful because the tax assessment office, Chrissy and Jennifer, were very helpful in verifying that my information was correct. If you can let them know, that would be helpful. So this kind of mess that we have, and I'm telling you, the last time I was here, I told you, you ain't seen nothing yet. I have 3 more to present to you, where I believe from what I'm looking at, some records are being scrubbed. And at least I know they're being scrubbed onto my property. And I'm not very happy about that, because I think the law requires that taxes have to be uniform. And if you have encroachments and all of this other nonsense going on with 2 deeds into one property, there's a real problem going on here. And I don't believe that this assessment is necessarily being done fairly. And I would like to correct that according to...
Let her finish, let her finish.
No,
Let her finish.
well, we have to be very dictatorial here.
Let her
Anyway,
finish.
so I lost my train of thought. Thank you.
You said about double taxation.
Yes, well, you're gonna, when I'm looking at just a block, one city block in Pottsville, I mean, it's really going to be quite an interesting little mess, because things that were previously recorded in the camera cards are now not even recorded, and they're being, from what I can see based on the records in the tax assessor's office, they're being, they're not, when you don't bring the remarks forward that people were doing things without building and zoning permits, and you just write it off like it's not happening and you can't get back to the record, how are you going to expect people who cannot afford an attorney to have equal protection under the 14th Amendment by not being able to have the records that were previously there removed? So you have to do literally, in order to meet the deadlines for what you are saying, that you can go out and do your own appraisal, or not your own appraisal, but you get your own records together to appeal your taxes. If the records aren't there, you have to file right to know requests, and that can take 30, 60 days, depending on looking for the record. I mean, to me, I think that I'm going to open a can of worms, and I'm going to thank you for your time.
Chrissy, is the county covering what needs to be done, or?
Well, I think that's the city that has to do their zoning, correct? It wouldn't be county, correct?
City owns their own zoning.
Can I address that, please?
Sure.
The fact of the matter is, these deeds are recorded in the county, and there is a process, or there used to be a historical process, is my understanding, where the reason why you have the tax assessor's office, the recorder of deeds, and these all separate is because there's supposed to be some kind of checks and balances in place. And if you look at how, I mean, I don't mean to take all this time, but
Is this something you can talk to Chrissy about later then? Have you
it
talked
should
to-
be, I believe it should be public, and that's why I will be coming back 3 more times just addressing tax assessments. Thank you.
Is there, Susan and
What she's saying that is incorrect. There's nothing that I can do. The city has to do it.
Okay.
To correct it. The deeds were recorded. My office's check is to make sure that the UPI matches the description, and that's it. My office doesn't have the right to say, oh, did the city make sure that this isn't with the commercial building or not? Then that should be on the city to do
Excuse
that,
me.
not us.
Okay, well, you work with the city then, right?
Yeah, okay, excuse me. When the city was notified by the county that building and zoning permits were not being sent up, this body was informed of that, because I came here and said, Theoretically, if I'm not mistaken, there could have been an action in mandamus filed by the county to the city requiring them to comply with the law. Because without the building and zoning permits, you're basically not keeping accurate records of what is going on. Am I correct in that?
I get the building permits.
Yes,
So was there anything built on this?
yes, but
And
this was before
At the
you.
same time as the deed though?
No,
See,
these
that's
are
the
different,
problem.
no,
Could
this
you-
is,
No.
no, wait,
Laura,
wait.
did you spend some time with Chrissy after the meeting and try working with her?
Well, I find her office to be very good. I mean, I've
Well,
had, but what I'm telling you is that when they notified the city, the tax assessor's office before you notified the city that building and zoning permits weren't being sent up, I came back and I said, they're not doing this. The county, in order to protect itself, could have filed an action in mandamus to require the city to send these permits up, and then they would have had to act to remove things that didn't belong there. But because there was no action in mandamus filed, they just allowed the record to be inaccurate for years. And then if they say, well, this is a fight between the property owners, but let me tell you something, the taxing authority has a vested interest in every single property within the county. Anyway, thank you very much. Have a good day.
Good job.
Morning, George.
Good morning.
George Stankovich, Palo Alto. I'd just like to say that today's July 2nd, and excuse me, and we still haven't received them, but they should be coming out soon, the assessments. So I'm sure everybody's going to get bombarded with complaints and everything like that they're going to be losing their homes. Senior citizens and veterans, once again, are the ones that are really hurting. I've heard different reports, going from 1% to up to 4% in the United States, there's homeless people. And I'm just saying, I guarantee you, Pennsylvania is one of the highest in that percentage. It is going to be ridiculous. I'm telling you, people out there, I know you are hurting, you're scared and everything like that. Right now with this appeal, you do not need a lawyer. Get that in your head. You do not need a lawyer. All you need is pictures of your property or anything that you have that they missed or said differently than what's on the report. You can go with that to this tax appeal. And it's ridiculous that you only got, 40 days to get in here to have it.
August 11th.
August 11th, okay.
Right.
That's the law, just so you know.
Okay,
That's
okay,
not-
but I understand that, but I'm just saying it's ridiculous. What if you have way more people coming in for appeals than you have people that can listen to the appeals and give you what they're, I'm not blaming on you, I know you have nothing to do with it, but I'm just saying, this is what we're gonna go through. Is everybody gonna have the same fair chance to speak, to do all their paperwork, to do all these things? There's people out there that don't even understand these laws and everything like that. I don't understand all the laws. I'll be honest with you, but this is ridiculous. When you hit an age of 65 and you worked your whole life and you serve this country, if you serve this country, a veteran should never, ever lose their home. Never. I don't care what the situation is. And when they go into a hospital or a doctor's office, if you show your credentials, it should be free. I know you guys don't have nothing to do with that, but I'm just telling you, this is how this government is set up. It's not fair. It's not looking at the majority of the people. Majority of people are under $40,000, which is right now is poverty level, and I guarantee you it's jumped to about 43,000. And I can go through Schuylkill County, and I guarantee you it's going to be about 65 or higher percentage that people don't make $40,000. I guarantee you that. And I'm tired of this nonsense. These politicians are getting away with murder, and what do? They're worried about taking care of the rich, making the big excuse where you got to bring them back in. They should have never left in the first place to these countries to manufacturing and stuff like that. There should have been jobs in this country. There shouldn't have been a soul that should be out of work. And now I see it went up to 7.8%. You know, it's jumping higher because places are shut down. They can't compete anymore with the big Joes. And that's what another thing it's all about. They want one banking association. They want, this is worldwide. They want one banking association. They want one of everything, stores, doctors, everything that you can get a hold of. They're gonna make it harder and harder for the people that can't afford it. This is ridiculous, and I'm telling you people, get out there. Make sure, even if you have to get your neighbors to sign a petition to get to Argo, Twardzik, all these guys, Fetterman, I don't care who it is, the governor, let's get them on board and put pressure on these guys. They work for us, not the other way around.
Yeah.
To elaborate what George brought up, the 92,000 notices went out late on June 30th. They're in the mail, you'll be receiving them. You have up until August 11th to make an appointment to have a, like George said, you don't have to have an attorney, you don't have to hire an appraiser, just bring evidence to your appeals.
Don't be afraid.
That's all. Anybody else? Morning, Mr. Donald. Morning. Larry said hello, he's back on dry land again.
That's good. Tell him I said hello. I'm sure he's watching. Nothing, no update on Lisa Stevens yet from Mr. Opaque. Still no appearance from Ms. Gaffney, who's robbing the taxpayers blind. $96,000 a year, doesn't show up for work except to do tours. Again, worked less than 100 hours in 2025 on the taxpayer's dime. 9:30 this morning, there was 5 elected officials not here. So that's just a common trend. You know, if the recorder of deeds was here today, that'd be a great thing to handle this issue with the deeds, but it's a shame, never here. In the last 2 weeks, I had the pleasure of talking to 3 people who were very close to retiring here. They liked the news feed and the posts, and they said they can't wait to get out of here. It truly is a circus. They can't wait until their time's up, and good people are dropping like flies. They said it's just gone downhill in the last couple of years. So it's amazing that these people are talking like that, and I'm sure more will come out, but you guys got to focus on your people. It's a shame. I see Mr. Barnes abruptly resigned from the coroner's office. Apparently he was told either resign or he was fired. So, interesting. He was here promoting everything and then forced to resign. I wonder what that is all about. Is there any update on the coroner's office and the plans for that?
Mr. Bender, do we have any?
Coroner's office is up and running.
You were out yesterday, right?
I was, yes.
Yeah, okay.
So everything's back on in New Philly?
Yes.
Okay. And the borough's aware that it's being operated there?
I was saying on my statement, I was out and visited, the coroner's office is up and running.
Okay, so we're confirming that no knowledge of the borough, I guess. All right. Anyway, we'll move on to the next one. Speaking of the circus, that this is mainly called by a lot of people, or I guess romper room now, or I don't know what you want to call it. So, an employee was caught pleasuring themselves, apparently in the archives office, and was fired. Seems like you might need like sex addicts training or something here for this. That should have been part of the consent decree. And I don't know if the judge overseeing the consent decree, I think he'd love to hear this. But my question again, which I started last week, was why is it not on the PAR report? Multiple people told me, we don't do that. Boots, you were one of them. Larry swore by it that it hasn't been done since he's been on. But Boots, I clearly remember when you retaliated against George's victims numerous times. You placed them on the PAR report, am I correct? All 4 women were humiliated and their names put on those PAR reports during that process, am I correct? Silence. Just for everybody listening at home, he's just staring here like he's falling asleep.
Jeff, time.
Okay, I just want to finish up here. Everybody else had 7
You're
minutes. Everybody else had 7 minutes. That's good, that'll be a lawsuit for you. I mean, you just allowed Laura to speak for 7 minutes.
Just move it along.
Okay, so they're not placed on the par report. This gentleman allegedly was caught pleasuring himself by another employee, was terminated, not put on the par report. George's victims were, by you. And then it just so happens that even during Larry's tenure, Mr. Devin Motel from Children and Youth, his termination was listed for the November 20th of 24 meeting, effective November 14th, 2024. So why are we hiding this guy? Why can't this be put out there? Why can't the public know? Why is it retaliation against certain people, and why are things hidden? I'd like some answers. And I'd like you to answer why you put those women on there, but you refuse to put this man on here. Definitely just sexism, and you're retaliating against people.
We've heard enough, Mr. Duffy. This is
Of
the
course
third
you
or
did.
fourth time, okay?
Of course you did.
You're done, you're done, you're done. You're
You're a
done,
sexist.
you're done. Anybody else? Melinda, good morning.
Melinda Dybert, North Manheim Township. Just to dovetail a little bit, I didn't plan on talking about that, but since it came up. Yes, absolutely. Terminations must be listed on that personnel action request form. That is the official document that details what sort of action is being taken at a public meeting. Commissioners, when you take action, that has to take place at a public meeting, in a public forum, in front of your public. That cannot be hidden away. It cannot be like emailed in a separate little email or something. If you have a personnel issue, you may discuss the specifics behind closed doors. That does not have to be divulged in a public meeting, the reason for the termination. But if someone is being terminated, it absolutely does have to appear on that PAR report. Likewise, any hirings, if you hire someone, if someone resigns, if someone decides to retire, those actions also, those names and the effective dates have to appear on that personnel action request form. Absolutely have to. So if someone has been terminated and it did not appear on that PAR report, illegal and incorrect. Okay, now to shift gear, can I?
Well, you're correct, except with respect to row officers and the courts, because they're responsible for hiring, terminating, and disciplining their own.
It still has to appear on the county's public PAR report. Yes, it does, Paul. It absolutely does. Okay, that's fine. And I don't believe this person, what, you're saying they fell under the courts? So that's why they didn't have to appear? The archives?
Which one are you talking about? The archives termination? Yes, they're technically a court employee.
You're incorrect, though, that they do have to appear on that part. That is the only public document that we have to signify official action that has been taken at a public meeting. Now,
The commissioner do not need to take official action with respect to terminations by row officers or the court.
it has to appear on the PAR report. Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yes.
The
All right,
PARs are,
Okay.
the PARs are prepared. They are prepared. PAR reports are prepared for every single solitary thing. We need it for pension.
Right.
We need it for.
Yep.
That is being completed.
That is different than what you're talking about. You're talking about the spreadsheet.
What is presented here, you're saying what's presented here at the meeting
I'm not saying
is
that.
not a PAR report. That's how it's labeled at the
It's a
top?
report. It's a spreadsheet indicating the PAR reports that have been filed.
Yes.
So when it says personnel action request form, at the top of that document, that's not, you're telling me that's not what that is?
It's not action that has to be taken by the commissioners. I'll cover up.
Yes, it is.
It is not.
It has to be
All right,
formally recognized at a public meeting.
Commissioner, I'm not gonna argue anymore.
Okay.
Don't take away more time, just
I don't even know what I have left now.
I'll give you an extension.
Of what? Because I had a totally different topic I was gonna talk about. I didn't know everybody was gonna chime in.
we ask questions you want me to answer, because we're trying to help you out here, okay? Do it again. Take your time.
I'll give you a minute.
I'll try to scurry it up. Okay, change of topic. I would like to invite our commissioners to start what I'm calling a good citizenship program in the county. I would envision this including people who volunteer their time, talents to different groups, organizations, etc. These people would be nominated for their efforts. Let me give you just a few examples. Sean Mosser, who lives in Higgins in the west end of the county, for the last 15 years, he has volunteered his time, talents, and resources to coach Teener League baseball, and for 20 years, he has coached youth football. He actually, let me just do this little blurb. The Higgins Black Junior squad kept its dynasty intact last Thursday, rolling past Schuylkill Valley 12-3 at Schuylkill Valley's Middleport Field to sweep the best-of-3 series and clinch an 8th consecutive Schuylkill County Teener League Junior Division Championship. That made Sean Mosser and his group there, that gave them a 21-0 record for the season. This is their 8th consecutive. That is something to be extremely proud of. These people, Sean Mosser is an example. Someone that I had brought up earlier, one of our district magistrate candidates, Marty Sowers, has also done this. He has coached for 15 years plus, doing both baseball and football. I'd also like to recognize Jeff Dunkel. He volunteers countless hours to Dustin's Adventureland, which is a special needs playground, but it's not just for special needs children, it's for children of all abilities. He donates countless hours to different fire companies, trying to feed the homeless. I can't even tell you all the different different pies that Jeff is involved in, trying to help out. I would like to see something where we have recognized all these different individuals in our county. They're not getting paid a single dime for all of their time and energy that they're putting in on these programs. I think it would be a worthwhile endeavor. I think it would be the politically correct thing to do, that these individuals would be recognized in some form or fashion, whether you invite them to a meeting, you give them some sort of certificate, you allow, maybe do a luncheon or something at the end of the year. I don't know. I'm just throwing some ideas out there, but I think that it would go a long way to making these people feel valued within their communities. Thank you.
Anyone else want to give public comment today? If not, move on to the meeting. It'll be up first is the grant writers. Morning, Cheryl.
Morning, Commissioners. Cheryl Fuss on behalf of grant writers. Approval to enter into a cooperation agreement with the Borough of Shenandoah for a demo project at 137 to 139 East Cole Street. Approve a resolution to apply for the 2025 Energy Solutions Grant in the amount of $540,074 on behalf of Schuylkill Hope Center, Servants to All, and Schuylkill Community Action, and approve a revision to the 2021 CDBG program moving $2,498.87 from the Tamaqua North and Middle Ward line item to the Tamaqua demolition line item. Thank you.
Thank you. Morning, Carl.
Morning.
Morning, Commissioners. On behalf of Schuylkill County Children and Youth, Carl Rumble, we have 4 agreements to present today, each with a term period of July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026. First, requesting approval of an agreement with Bethany Christian Services of Central PA out of Lancaster for their foster care services with per diem rates as follow. Level 1 is at $75.94. Level 2 is at $79.88. Level 3 is at $103.12. Level 4 is at $169.14. Level 5 is at $220.49. Medical foster care level 1 is at $89.62. The medical level 4 program is at $133.67. Second item is requesting approval of an agreement with Stepping Stones Family Services out of Reading, Pennsylvania. They offer foster care services and their per diem rates are as follows. The traditional is at $57.57. Specialized is at $64.57. The infant foster care program is at $58. We're going to have to get the exact cents corrected for you on that item. The kinship is $61.47. Teen Mother Program with child is at $80.47. Third item today is an agreement with Center County Youth Services Bureau, State College. They offer residential and shelter care services with a per diem rate of $276 for the residential and shelter care, and for their supervised independent living services, the per diem rate is $89. Finally, we have with Keystone Adolescent Center out of Greenville. They offer residential services, and the per diem rates are as follows. Specialized setting program is at $304. Specialized intensive is at $406. The enhanced program is at $1,295.78. Transitional living is at $209, and this is those agreements all for the term July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026. And I would like to clarify that the infant program for Stepping Stones is at $58.57. The 8 is the error.
Thank you, Carl. Under block grant programs?
Chairman is off today. She asked me to present her item, Commissioner. Approval of medical assistant transportation program, participation grant agreement, and assurance of compliance for the period July 1, 2025 to June 30, 2026.
Thank you, Mr. Bender. Planning and zoning? Morning, Susan.
Morning, Commissioners. Susan Smith for planning. A motion is requested to approve a land development improvement agreement to be substantially in the form of the county standard development agreement between the county and the applicant for the preliminary final land development plans for Big B Manufacturing, which is located in Upper Montongo Township, and to authorize execution of this agreement by the Board of Commissioners. This land development plan was conditionally approved by the County Planning Commission at their May 14th meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Tax Assessment. Chrissy, good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Christine Zimmerman, Tax Assessment Office. I'm here to request immediate approval to hire the following individuals to the Auxiliary Board of Appeals to sit on a 3-panel board for the purpose of hearing appeals being scheduled in August, September, and October 2025, related to the valuation established by Vision Government Solutions at the rate of $20 per hour. Julian Maluski, Ringtown Borough; Brittany Heller, Higgins Township; Chris Maluski, Norwegian Township; Edward Hampford, Pottsville; Marianne Kays, West End, West Monoy Township; Lane Garris, Branch Township; Jared Yaskouskas, West Penn Township; Lily Hirsch, Pottsville; and Gregory Wall, Pottsville. The reason I'm asking for immediate approval is due to training purposes, so that they have the training before we start the hearings.
Okay, when this is done, how many boards will you have in addition to the current board?
I still need at least 9 more people.
Okay, working on it.
Yep.
How many do you have so far?
Like 20 some, but the problem is some can't do Mondays,
Right,
some
right.
can't do
Some
it,
of them
that
are
they're
part-time.
not all full.
And once again, your existing board will do the commercial properties,
Yes,
and these auxiliary boards will do the residential.
correct.
Okay, is there a motion to approve that?
So moved.
I'll second that. On the question?
Commissioner Fedora, Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
Thanks, Chrissy.
Thank you.
And once again, the notices are in the mail. You have until August 11th to schedule your appeal. She said it's gonna go September and October, right? It'll
It's gonna
be-
go August, September,
And October, yeah, so it'll be several months with the job. And now the appeal will take place down at the SDS building,
the
right?
old SDS in
Yes,
St. Clair,
okay.
correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Met Relations, good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good to see you.
Michelle Spolsky on behalf of School County Domestic Relations have 2 items to review. A motion is requested for the approval of Melissa Hayes to attend the National Child Support Enforcement Association Leadership Symposium in Atlanta, Georgia, from August 11th to the 14th of 2025. She is honored to be invited as a speaker at this event, where she will present on different, not less, enhancing perspectives on autism and neurodiversity communities for future child support workers. This opportunity allows for professional development and the sharing of valuable insights that will benefit our work. All conference and travel expenses will be covered by the Domestic Relations Incentives Fund and incurring no cost to the county. The second item is a motion is requested by the Schuylkill County Domestic Relations Office to the Schuylkill County Board of Commissioners to approve 6 employees along with travel expenses that are consistent with the county's policy to attend the annual statewide Domestic Relations Association of Pennsylvania training conference in Gettysburg, PA. This conference is held from Sunday, October 19th, 2025, and concludes Thursday, October 23rd, 2025. This conference allows staff to incorporate the provision of updates of federal regulations, case law, and statutes relating to child support, acquire knowledge on upcoming mandates, intergovernmental modifications, cybersecurity, unusual support guidelines, scenarios, and tax credits, paternity disestablishment, the Uniform Parentage Act, modern families, and inclusion in the workplace. This line item is reimbursed at 66%.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Solicitor Body, good morning, sir.
Morning, Commissioners. Through the Solicitor's Office, we are requesting a motion to approve a resolution presented to the Board, which will enable the transfer of all county transportation functions and assets from the county to the Schuylkill County Transportation Authority effective July 1, 2025. The Schuylkill County Transportation Authority adopted a comparable resolution at its meeting on June 25, 2025. I want to indicate that the old STS building, which is titled in the county now, will stay titled in the county. That's not going to change hands. The new facility located in St. Clair is already titled in the Transportation Authority's name. And this is a process that the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation has been requesting counties throughout the state to adopt.
That was gonna be one of my questions that I didn't ask before, about the old STS.
Yeah, I wanted to make clear that's staying, because that's not, it's beyond the time period that was.
And just other highlights, so the public knows that the commissioners still appoint the board.
Correct. The Transportation Authority board membership is at the pleasure of is appointed by the commissioners, and they serve at the pleasure of the commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Finance Office, Glenn, good morning.
Good morning, Commissioner. We just have a couple of items for informational purposes only. Tax Assessment Office at a $304 adjustment, Domestic Relations at $900, Courts at $1,500, Risk Management at $1,700, and then 2 at the Grant Office at $397,452. And the 2 items are there because of the adjustment in order to ensure that the grants are accounted for properly.
Thank you. County Administrator, Mr. Bender.
Seeking approval requested to ratify the designated approved contract for the month of June, and I'm asking for approval at this time.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
I'll second that. On the question?
Commissioner Fedora, Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
Mr. Kern, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Commissioners. I'm seeking approval of the continuation of the Employee Assistance Program with Inroads Family Guidance Center. The contract covers July 1, 25 to June 30, 26, provides up to 3 sessions per household member per contract year. The base cost is $6,140. Each employee session is billed at $70 per session. If a critical incident stress debriefing is needed, they're billed at $150 per hour plus mileage. Any additional required consulting is billed at $90 per hour plus mileage. The contract includes 2 hours of training plus orientation and literature that can be distributed to employees. And the movements of people. In the Office of Senior Services, the appointment of Catherine Wysocki as an Aging Care Manager 2, the rate is $18.93, effective 7/14/25. Rate is for the contract. And Human Resources, the appointment of Renee Pencil as Office Support Secretarial. Rate is 14.2805, effective 7/14/25. The rate is per the contract. In addition, there are 3 informational items. In the Sheriff's Office, the transfer of Heather Nedzwicki as to Deputy Sheriff, effective 7/14/25. She's coming from a clerk 3 position. The rate is per the contract. And 2 items in the Clerk of Courts, the appointment of Laura Kramer as a clerk 3, effective 7/7/25. The rate is per the contract. And the appointment of Teresa Purcell as a clerk 3, effective 7/21/25. The rate is per the contract. All appointments are pending drug test and physical where appropriate, and all actions involving salary or for positions being created are pending salary board approval.
That'll be next week, contract, okay. Anything else, Tony?
That's all.
Okay, any new business for the board, commissioners? None, okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned.
Moving on to salary board, Chief Clerk Linda Dietrich, any executive sessions?
There were none held.
Public comment?
Melinda Divert, North Manheim Township. This just kind of occurred to me, so I thought I would bring it up. How come when we have the designee approved contracts to be voted on by the commissioners, how come those contracts are never actually read out loud or presented so that anyone who might be, listening at home or, the meetings being streamed on the website and various other sites?
Aren't they posted?
They're posted on the website with the agenda.
But don't you think it would be a good idea for people who are listening to the meetings at home? Because I know there's a fair number of people who, since I believe WPPA radio is now streaming the meetings on the radio. So you may have a lot of older people at home who are listening to the meeting as it's being live streamed on the radio, and all they're hearing is approval requested to ratify the designee approved contracts for the month of June. They have no idea what those contracts are. And maybe some of these older individuals don't have a computer in their home, or they're not able to go online to specifically navigate the county's website and look up those designee contracts. Do you think that that's maybe something that we could change going forward so that those designee contracts would actually be presented or read aloud so that people at home, I mean, I know there's nothing to hide, so if there's nothing to hide, why don't we just, take an extra 30 seconds or 60 seconds, whatever it might be, to actually read those designee contracts aloud?
You couldn't do it in 30 seconds, Melinda, for God's sakes. You couldn't do it, and once again, they're already, available to look at. I don't understand what making this is redundant, okay?
No, it's not really redundant. If you were listening to what I said, for our older people who may or may not have access to a computer, what would be the problem in just reading? Like, how many designee, I didn't look it up myself. How many designee contracts did we have for the month of June? 10? 100? 10?
We'll take it under advisement with Chairman, okay?
That's not bad.
Yeah, we'll talk to the Chairman about it.
Okay. I mean, 10 contracts, I don't think that would take that long to just, present that.
Let's see what the Chairman thinks, okay, when he gets back.
Okay. As long as we're open for discussion. Thank you, I appreciate it.
It's supposed to be public comment, not discussion, sorry. This
What?
is supposed to be public comment, not a discussion, but we allow discussion to take place. This is strictly supposed to be public comment, not discussion.
Well, and that's what I was doing. I was offering my public comment, but if you want to give your, feedback, that's okay too. So thank you, I appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am. Anyone else with public comment?
Jeff Dunkel, Palo Alto, since you abruptly cut me off and retaliated against me, and the rest of the people could have 7 minutes, I'll finish up now. But now, it's funny that she brought that up about these designee approved contracts. Why can't they just be hung outside? I mean, you changed the process with the finances and the budget adjustments, they're hung out there, that
might be
solved that problem.
compromised, Yeah, sure.
But then I find it also funny that she asks Mr. Bender, who prepares them, and you guys who just voted on them, how many were there? All three of you didn't know, but you just voted on them, giving away probably tens or hundreds of thousands of county taxpayer dollars. Nobody knows how many there are. That's just mind-blowing to me that you spend that kind of money for the county, and not one person can answer even how many there were, but you just approved them.
The reason I didn't give it.
Very good transparency.
Let me answer that one. Because if I say the wrong number, you're criticizing me. I did read over them, I did not count them out, so I'm sorry if I didn't. But the trouble is, if I say 12 and it's 13, you'll criticize me for being stupid and sleeping and old and not know what's going on.
Not stupid, but sleeping, yeah, I would.
Yeah, so that's the only reason I didn't give a number, because I looked over, but I did not count them and have a number in my head, so I didn't want to say something
Mr.
wrong.
Bender prepared them, he didn't know the
I didn't want to say something wrong and have you criticize me, so that's your answer, sir. Anybody else?
I answered you, not Mr. Bender, though, as he sits up there.
Are you
As
done?
he sits up there and chuckles.
Are you done now? Are you done?
Oh, do I still have more time?
Are you done? Can I move on with the meeting? Are you done?
Oh, sure, go ahead.
Thank you.
You love having that chair.
Are you done?
No.
One more outburst and the sheriff's gonna give you right outside, okay? You got a public comment? If not, excuse me. Human Resources,
Nothing to report.
any new business for the salary board? A motion adjourned. So moved. Thank you.